Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Tamika. This is Library of Tomes, where I talk to you about all the bookish things going on in my life. Welcome back. Hi, how are you? Today we're doing my 1600 subscriber Q&A. I love you all. I feel like I need to just start this by saying thank you and I love you. I didn't do a Q&A at 1,000. And I wanted to do one at 1,500, but then Jessica decided to shout me out, and now I'm at 1,700. And I just want to say thank you to everyone for being here and for asking questions and for just supporting me. And however you do that, whether you watch my videos or you're subscribed to my channel or you use my affiliate links or you have just stuck with me through the time that I have been on YouTube. Because if you didn't know, hi, my name is Tamika. I have been on YouTube for 6 years now. I started my YouTube channel when I was 17 years old. I was a senior in high school, and this was the reason that I started reading again. I had came out of a 3-year reading slump, and it was just finding my love for reading and finding the booktube community is the reason that I was able to get that thing that I loved back when I was really young. Reading was my saving grace. It was the thing that had really motivated me, and I don't want to say was the reason that I made it through being depressed the first time, but it was definitely the thing that made me hold on the most. So I won't be too in depth about that. Just I struggle a lot with my mental health. I think a lot of people do. And I think we should end that stigma of separating from mental health and making it a bad thing for that person. But I will say reading was my coping mechanism, and reading has continued to be my coping mechanism for a lot of the mental health issues that I have. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the questions. All right, so we're gonna start on Instagram. I asked on my community tab, and I also asked on my Instagram. So we're gonna start here. I'm looking a little fuzzy. There we go. So the first question that I have on here, it's from Heather. She has, do you have a go-to coffee? And I do have a go-to coffee. I only drink 2 different types of coffee. I will drink the iced coffee from, it's called International Delights. It's the iced cold coffee. It's in the flavor vanilla. You get it in a carton at Walmart. I love that coffee. I drink it every single day. And I drink it every single morning. And then if I'm going to actually get coffee, I will get an iced caramel macchiato. Delicious. My favorite thing in the whole world. I know it's not supposed to be iced. I've heard people get mad because I get it that way, but I love it. I think it's delicious. And I like the McDonald's one the best. And I haven't had another coffee that I love. So that's my go-to coffee. And then Heather also wanted to know what my favorite CNC book is. So I've only read Desperate Measures by Katie Robert. This trope and this subject is something that I want to read more from, but I haven't yet. So we're going to just say Desperate Measures by Katie Robert, just because not only is that the Taboo Book Club pick, hold on, let me pull it out here for you. Desperate Measures, not only is this our Taboo Book Club pick, I just really like this book in general. It has Daddy Kink in it, in case you're interested. My favorite thing in the whole world. So Brie asked me how tall I am. I'm 5'7". And then she said, what are your favorite videos to film versus your favorite videos to watch? My answer for these are the same thing, because it's reading vlogs. I'm in a huge reading slump right now, so right now I do not want to film a single reading vlog, but they're my favorite things to film and they're my favorite things to edit. Specifically reading experiments or a specific themed type of reading vlog. So if I read a certain type of book and watching that progression of what I think I will think before, what I think before and then what I feel like after, that's my favorite thing for both of them. And those are my favorite videos, not only to watch but also to make. I have talked about this a lot. I really just like the editing process, and I love editing vlogs a lot. Okay, so Dylan asked, who are your favorite parental figures in books? And I gotta be honest, I don't pay attention to parental figures in books, but if I had to pick, it's not gonna be a romance. Bear with me. It would be from the Raven Cycle. It would be the, God, I don't even remember their names at this point. I love the Raven Cycle. It was one of my favorite series ever. I'm trying to see if their names are on here. I don't think they are. But it's the women that take care of Blue. It's her parental figures. It's her mother and then her, I think, 2 aunts. But I love the characters in this book series. This is a YA fantasy. It's one of the only YA fantasies that I still love and I would consider like rereading. So I would say the characters in this series are my favorites and I love them a whole lot. So that is probably who I would go with, because other than these characters, I don't really think about parental figures, but these ones definitely come to mind. So Darlene wants to know, what's a book trope that I hate? Specifically hate is the cheating trope, or honestly the cheating trope. Like I have said about 1,000,000 times, I have only ever had one book that has done it decent. It was from my queen, Brianna Hale, The Black Fox. I don't know another book that has done this well at all that I've ever found or that I've ever enjoyed. There's probably been one or two other ones that I've liked, but like off the top of my head, that is the only one I can think about. I hate cheating in books. I just straight up hate it. For me personally, cheating is like such a hard thing to come back from, and to have a hero or a heroine willingly do that, it just makes me question their entire character, because I have been cheated on. I know how hard that is, and I know how you lose all your trust in someone because of that. So personally, I can't get behind the cheating trope. I just don't like it, unless for very specific reasons it happens, like the two characters aren't even, and like they don't care about each other, they're only together for a reason of convenience, then I can kind of get behind it. But like if you are remotely invested in someone, or there are feelings on either side just in the relationship, that's honestly what I would rather happen. Okay, so the next question is, what is your all-time favorite forbidden romance book and non-forbidden romance book? So for non-forbidden, I'm gonna go with The Dugout by Megan Quinn. I love that book so much. It is a baseball romance. It is not forbidden at all. It is so sweet. The two characters are, one's a baseball player, one is a, God, what is she? She is like studying to become, like she wants to train baseball players. So the heroine is trying to help our hero because his swing is off, and it is just so sweet. I love it. Their relationship is absolutely adorable. They become like the best friends. I love it. It's adorable. For forbidden romance, I don't know which one I would say is my favorite, because I obviously want to go with like a Brianna Hale. So I mean, I could easily go with like, God, do I even have it here? God, I don't know. I want to go with a Brianna Hale, obviously. I'm going to go with Brianna Hale. We're going to go with one of hers, and we're actually going to go with the one that is like with cheating. God, I love this book so much. But if I had to pick something other than her and do something a little different, one of my all-time favorite forbidden stories is Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. This is, I don't talk about it a ton. I talked about this in my favorite taboo books, and it's not really taboo. It's like the beginner level of taboo, but this is about Jordan and Pike. Jordan is dating Pike's son, and Pike is twice her age. So this one is very forbidden in the sense of their age gap and like how far apart they are in age, but I absolutely love these two characters, and I really like this book. And if you haven't read Penelope Douglas, I seriously recommend you check it out. She writes some pretty good smut. Okay, so Samantha asked, what is your idea of the perfect day? So my perfect day is a little different than some people's. My perfect day is the middle of summer, like sweltering heat, absolutely like closing on 100, very, very warm, by the pool. And I have never been able to perfect this perfectly, but it's my ideal perfect scenario, on a pool float with a book. I have read in the pool before on a float, but I really struggled with staying afloat on it. I don't know what that little jig I just did was, without getting the book soaking wet. So that's my idea of a perfect day if I can pull that off. I eventually want to try to do that and like have that perfect day. Maybe this summer, because I love the summer, and I love to swim. So that's the thing I want. Okay, so Chloe asked me what my favorite kind of food or restaurant is to eat at. Mexican food. I love Mexican food, and it's Tex-Mex. It's not like authentic Mexican food, but I love Mexican food. I love rice, and I like cheese, and I like chicken, and I like the chips, and that's all I want. I want a pollo bendito, no beans, extra rice. That's all I ever want. I love it. It's my favorite thing in the whole world. And there's like 15 of them where I live, so that's my favorite part about it. My favorite Christmas book or movie, this is also from Chloe, and I would say the first book in the Reindeer Fall series. I can't even remember what that first book is called. I want to read the rest of that series this year. I really liked it. I think it's the boss the jerk that stole Christmas, or the boss that stole Christmas, something like that. It is adorable. I really like that, and I definitely want to continue with that series. It's an enemies to lovers or hate to love, where they have to go on a business trip together. It's quite cute. They also asked what I've missed most during quarantine. And I don't want to say I've missed most of traveling, because I didn't travel a ton before quarantine started, but this was the year I was gonna actually start being able to travel. I had a whole trip. I had a trip planned to go to a Polycon. I had a trip planned to go to Books in the Bluegrass. And in general, I had planned on also taking a trip to Tennessee, which I'm in Kentucky if you didn't know. And I was gonna go to Dollywood, which is my favorite place in the whole world. And I can't go because I don't want to infect people, and I don't want to be infected with COVID. I didn't get to do that, so traveling is what I'll probably say. Chloe also asked if I'd ever leave Kentucky. I don't know. The short answer is no. I probably will never leave Kentucky. I have always wanted to leave Kentucky, but I just don't know if that's in the books for me or not. I love Kentucky. God, that sounds weird to say. I love Kentucky. I do. I love the state, even if we're fucking stupid, even if we always go red. I love my family, and I love my friends, and I don't ever want to leave them. But I also don't ever want to leave Kentucky because I have an emotional attachment to the state. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know. I would probably never leave. I will probably never leave. Will I leave Eastern Kentucky? Probably. I will probably leave Eastern Kentucky at some point. But will I ever leave Kentucky? Probably not. My friend Kennedy once says she ain't never seen two pretty best friends. That's my best friend, in case y'all are curious. So the first one on here is from Izzy, and it says, I know you had a Christmas novella published. I noticed it's no longer online. What are your plans for writing in the future? Okay, so long story short, I unpublished my novella. It was a decision that I made because I didn't feel like that story was at its fullest potential. I think, and if you want me to like be a little more in depth about it, I have always wanted to be an author, and I kind of made this decision that I was going to do it. And I was in a very toxic environment and a very toxic situation, specifically a toxic, I had a toxic relationship with someone, and I had a very, I wasn't happy at where I was working. So the combination of those two things made me rush to do something I wasn't ready to do, which was publishing the novella before it was ready, because I had this idea in my head that I had to be a full-time self-published author and just put anything I had out there. And it honestly, it's not ready. The book was not ready. Whoever has read that story, I'm sorry, because that story is not ready. I went back and looked at it, and I was just so embarrassed that I had put this novella out, because truthfully, it's not ready for the world to see. I do have plans on doing another round of revisions and publishing it again. It probably will not be until either late 2021 or 2022. I don't really know when this story is going to go back out, but right now it's not. It is going to do I'm going to do another round of revisions on that book, and then eventually put it back out again. But I am currently working on a couple things. I had stopped wanting to write, and I had kind of lost that joy of writing, but I'm getting back to a place where I want to be writing again. So I do have a couple projects where I'm working on. No tentative plans to publish, just plans on creating a couple stories that I have rolling around in my brain that I want to get to at some point in the near future. So yeah, I hope that answers that question. I did unpublish it, but I do have plans on continue writing. Stella is not gone. Stella has just been retired for the moment. She will eventually make her reappearance, and when she does, I will be very excited. She also asked, am I your favorite? Yes or yes, and why? Obviously, duh, because you're cute. That's all I got. I'm just kidding. I love Izzy a lot. She's like my bestie ever. You know that. Okay, so this one is a really good question. This came from my friend Jordan. She said, I'd like to know how Tamika 6 years ago would feel about knowing how far she's came, or what advice you'd want to give yourself from back then. So the Tamika from 6 years ago had no idea we were going to get this far. She had no idea that we would be sitting here right now talking to a camera, talking to 1,700 people. I originally thought this was going to be easy, and I quickly realized that that's very wrong. And I had just accepted this idea that I was always going to be small, which I'm still small, but still, and there would never be any growth. There was really, I didn't think I could have a platform where people actually wanted to talk to me, you know? I really thought that I was going to end up being just under 200 subscribers for the rest of the time that I do this, and that was just gonna be the end of it. And I realized that it's really what you put into it is what you're gonna get out of this. And sitting here knowing there are 1,700 people that care enough about what I have to say is amazing, and I love that. And the Tamika from 6 years ago, she would be so proud. Like, she would be shocked too to know that this weird hobby that she wanted, that she decided to join and take part in, was such an important part of my life. She would be really happy about that. And she would be honestly so shocked. She wouldn't believe it if I went back in time and I said, hey, this is what's gonna happen. And my advice for myself from 6 years ago, the Tamika that was a baby, that didn't really know what was in store, what these next 6 years would bring. I'm gonna get a little emotional. I'm already starting. Don't ever give up. Like, that is what I would tell myself. Don't ever give up. Don't ever let anyone take this from you, because there's gonna be people in your life that try. Like, there's gonna be people who try to take everything from you. Everything. Your self-worth, your hobbies, the things you love. They're going to try to take every single thing away from you and break you down and make you feel miserable. But this is the one thing they can't have. This is the one thing that they are never going to take from you. And they're going to try, and they're going to fail. They are going to fail so hard. And you're going to come out of it, and you're going to be 6 years later, me right now sitting here, and you're gonna realize that this was the one thing no one could ever take from you, and it's the one thing you always came back to. So just remember that everything's happening for a reason for you, and you started this channel for a reason, and you are gonna be so happy you did it. And I'm trying not to cry, but you all mean a lot to me, and I'm so lucky and grateful. Because me going through these last 2 months, and I have had so much going on in my personal life that it has been so hard, but I was able to focus on this, and I was able to focus on this channel and really distract myself and make this hard time so much easier. And I just want to say thank you. I don't know how I would have made it through without you all. Alright, we're moving on to the next question because I'm not crying anymore. Thank you, Jordan, for making me cry. That was apparently a very emotional answer. Not sure why I'm crying. Here I am. Okay, so this next question is, how do you get yourself out of a reading slump? I don't know how. I don't know how, homie. I truly don't. Like, for me, a reading slump is hard to get out of, because a lot of my reading comes from audiobooks, and then the other part of my reading is obviously physically reading, and I am so picky, and I am such a bad procrastinator. So when I get in a reading slump, it is really hard. It is really hard to get out of them. Honestly, what I have done and what I have tended to do, and somehow this has worked, I honestly will give myself the leeway and I just back away. Like, I completely step back and I stop trying to read. I don't read audiobooks, I don't read ebooks, I don't read physical books, I don't go buy books, I don't do anything bookish. I completely take a step back and I just completely shift gears. I will work on video editing. I mean, I'll do YouTube stuff. So like, I'll do YouTube stuff, or I will start working on a new hobby, or I will start writing, or I will scroll TikTok for 2 hours, or I'll watch YouTube videos, or I'll watch TV. I will literally do anything but read and give myself that break and just completely get away from reading, and just that's what I've tended to do, and I just focus all my energy on other things. And then there are a couple books that have really busted slumps for me. We're not gonna talk about The Skeleton King, but that was a slump buster. Really stupid, cheesy, like honestly silly novellas that I know I'm not supposed to take seriously. Those will help sometimes. Very over the top, ridiculous, marathon worthy series. Like, I'm currently reading the Queen Takes Night series right now, or the House of Isidore series, whatever you want to call it. That's currently busted me pretty much out of a reading slump. The Ice Planet Barbarian series, it's those things like that, like those series that you can just like, they're like mind-blowing, wow, those help me. But other than that, unless I'm like want to get like, I want to go to a favorite author, I'll pull out a Brianna Hale, I might try that. But other than that, I don't really have a way to get out of them. It is one of the things that I struggle with the most as a reader, is getting out of reading slumps. But I give myself that break, and then I slowly start trying to integrate it back into my life. Whether that is through making content, or watching content, or just coming in here and sitting in my library and staring at my bookshelves until something pops out at me. So I really don't have a good method of getting out of a reading slump. And the second part of that question was, what's your all-time favorite romance author? I feel like I just need to just pull this down. Hold on. I think if you've been around my channel for a while, this might not come as any surprise of who my favorite author is. It's Brianna Hale. This is not all of her books. I have another one somewhere. I think it might actually be on its way to Izzy right now. So here's Come to Daddy by Brianna Hale. Ringmaster. A Vow of Obedience. I couldn't remember the title of that one. Lap of Luxury. Control Freak. The Black Fox, and Devram's Court. I love her. She is one of my all-time. She is my all-time favorite romance author. I love her dearly. You don't know who Brianna Hale is. She writes a lot of emotional and a lot of daddy kink, and she writes a lot of taboo and some dark. So I can give you a rundown of these if you want, but I actually plan on doing a full author guide video to her at some point in the future. It's Brianna Hale. I love her a lot. A lot. So the next question is, who is your favorite booktuber to watch when you need new recommendations? I don't know specifically. Izzy, I always go to Izzy whenever I want a specific type of recommendation. I go to Jenn for dark or taboo. If she has a daddy kink I want to read, if she has read one recently, I'll go to Jenn. Heather from HEA Booktubes. I also Happy for Now, The Book Refuge, and then Heather from HEA Booktubes. I will go to her for her list. She does a lot of list recommendations. And then who else would I go to? Those are my main three that I'll go to. I like to go to Nayema too, because she reads more dark. She reads darker too. But yeah, those are like my main ones. Those are my main four that I kind of go to for recommendations. And then also I do watch Jess from Peace Love Books and Bree from In Love and Words. So I'll also watch them too for recommendations. But those are kind of like, those are my go-to, and then those are some other ones I also watch as well. I watch everyone in RomanceTube. I'm really bad at commenting, but I watch everyone. So I want to say everyone, but like I know those three, and those four specifically kind of match my reading taste a little bit. So I know that I'm always gonna get something that I like when I get there, when I read their recommendations. Okay, so this one says, what are your goals for your channel in the new year? I just want to be monetized. I want to rephrase that too. I want to be monetized, and I want to be more open about money on YouTube. I want to specifically talk about the possibility of booktubers making their hobby of booktube a part of their income, and like not shaming them for it. Like I want to open that discussion. I want, like, that's a goal I have, is once I'm monetized, I want to share like the journey. And then what's one genre or author you haven't read from yet that you want to read? Genre wise, I haven't read from, I think I've read from almost every genre. I haven't read much sci-fi. I don't really want to read much sci-fi, unless it's like alien romance. And then an author I haven't read that I really want to. Oh, that's a good question. I have so many authors on my to read list that I just haven't gotten to. I have a whole video of authors I haven't read yet that I wanted to read. I'm gonna go with Lila James because she writes a lot of dark romance, and Brianna Hill has promoted a lot of her books. So I'm gonna go with Lila James. Okay, so then this one says, if you could co-write with a romance author, who'd you pick and why? Brianna. I'm going with Brianna just specifically because I think we would write very similarly. Very similar stories. I'm not gonna try to give away the idea of the things I'm gonna write under Stella, but I will say we both write a specific kink that I think would mesh together well, because it's the same kink. And I also have switched to first person present tense, and I just feel like our writing would work well together, and I just love her. So that's all I got on that one. That I would pick Brianna for that reason. Next up, and the last question is, what kind of content have you always wanted to make but you've been too afraid to try? I want to make analytic videos, but I don't think they would perform on this channel, and it's just because I'm a really analytic driven person. I love numbers. I don't like math, but like I love seeing statistics and the numbers and the analytics and like the way things are performing. I love that. I just don't think anyone else would care. I love behind the scenes videos. I love just videos about producing content. I love videos about YouTube, and I love analytics. I would love to make that content, but I don't think anyone would watch it, and I don't know if the time that I invest into it would make it worth it. Because if I really want to gush about numbers, I can just call Izzy. And that's kind of the trade-off I have, is I would love to make that content, but I don't know if anyone would even be remotely interested in it. And worst case scenario is I literally call Izzy and I'm like, hi, please look at these numbers with me and tell me what your numbers were. Because like, we both love analytics and we love numbers. So I don't think it would be worth me trying to do and then not enjoying doing it. The other thing will probably be like plan with me's. I would really like to make plan with me's, but again, it's kind of that sense of, I don't know if anyone would care, you know? I don't know. If you would want to see plan with me's and you're still here, let me know. But yeah, I just don't think anyone would care about that. Okay, so those are all of the questions. Thank you for submitting them and for like just being here and supporting my channel. Thank you. I'm so sorry this video is so long. I'm sorry I cried in the middle of it. But I'm really happy you're here, and I'm really happy that you all have stuck around and you are excited for the things coming up on my channel, because I'm very excited about them. With that being said, if you want to be my friend on any other platform, all of my links are in the description. I have Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads all linked down below. I have links down in the description box for the books that I've talked about, specifically these Brianna Hill books, things like that. Things I have mentioned are linked in the description. And I will chat with you all in my next video. Bye everyone.
Rosie, sweet Rosie.